in this modern world, our attention is currency. There's no way to get around that. Therefore, what companies ought to be doing is mapping out in advance, if we pursue this path, because we cannot control the evolution of this technology, or better yet, we cannot control how consumers will use and possibly abuse this technology. What are all the catastrophic scenarios that we can think of?
All right, that was Future Today Institute founder and Stern Business School professor Amy Webb in an interview with CNET senior producer Dan Patterson. As a futurist, she focuses on the global challenges facing businesses and society. And a major concern today is just how much time we are spending on our devices and how that's impacting us long term. Apple and Google now have features in their devices to monitor your behavior. And Dan Patterson joins us now to discuss it all. Always good to see you, Dan.
I'm sorry, what's that, DeMarco?
See? Now, I'm going to tell you something. That happens a lot. I actually broke my ankle just looking at my phone, texting and coming down the stairs. We are addicted to these devices. So what exactly are device makers doing to help us better understand what we can do with our phone and why we're so attached to them?
Yeah, so Google has in their Play Store a digital wellness application that pairs with their Pixel phone that Google makes themselves. But if you are not a Pixel owner, you'll have to go to the Play Store to find this app and download it. Apple has the Screen Time application that is baked into the newest version of iOS, and that will give you little updates on how you use your device. It'll give you a breakdown with charts and graphs of your most used applications.
Well, that's frightening there. It sort of like gives it how long, I guess, you've been on Instagram and things that you really don't want to know, because it sort of like points out, okay, you know what, I may be a little addicted to this app or another app. Is that a good thing to really know it, or just...
Well, it's Apple's contention that, hey, we might want to get ahead of some of these bad tech stories and give you the power, at least give you some agency in how you use your device. And they let you control with little toggles and switches, let you shut off apps. If you've been on Instagram too long, kind of let you shut some social media off. So I think that the big trend here is that we're seeing device manufacturers like Amazon and Huawei and others who are in the Android ecosystem trailing a little bit behind Google and Apple, but everybody is kind of getting on this tech addiction bandwagon.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about other companies. What are they doing, and do they have any like similar features on their phones as well?
Yeah, a lot of these features are simply becoming ubiquitous, and they're even being baked into many social media applications. Again, I think a lot of tech companies kind of see the good that can come from technology and social networking, but also some of or a lot of the bad components.
So you appear to be addicted to your phone. I think it's safe to say, or would you argue that? Do you think you can do away with it for like a year or two, especially in your business? Not a year or two, but a day or two, which feels like a year when you're away from your phone.
I think it's incredibly challenging to be away from our digital devices. And in fact, I sink thousands of dollars every year into making sure that I have the most modern digital devices. So as aware as I am of some of these trends, and I do use data to help monitor my use, I'm as addicted as anyone else. I don't know if that's good or bad.
But you know what? I honestly think it's a good business move, especially for the device makers. But do you think they intentionally set out to make these devices addictive?
That's a great question. So I asked Amy Webb the same question. Let's take a listen to what she had to say.
I don't think it was anybody's intention. I think this is one of those knowable uncertainties, that this was a potential outcome that we sort of chose to ignore. And everybody chose to ignore, not just the tech companies, but also us as consumers. I think everybody is addicted to these devices for different reasons. There's plenty of scientific research around what is causing us, what is causing those dopamine hits. Some of it is affirmation, some of it is just stimulus all the time. And that certainly, I think, is a problem, not because of the addictive nature of it, but because it keeps us so fixed in the present. There's no time for contemplation.
She's so right. So I got to ask you this. How much is too much?
I think that this is an individual decision, but all of the experts we've spoken to say, look, if your phone comes between your family, your work, or other commitments. That's your own litmus test for how much. But we really would like to know from the audience, from our viewers, how much they think is too much, and whether everyone watching feels the same way we might feel about our devices. So I know on CBS News Twitter, which is just at CBS News on Twitter, as well as our Instagram account, which is CBS News, we're taking a little informal. This is not scientific. This is not a real poll, but we just kind of want to get a sense of what our viewers of CBSN, how they feel about their device addiction, or device use. So I would encourage everyone to go to our Twitter or Instagram and kind of answer the poll there. And we never want to ask our viewers to do something we're not willing to do ourselves.
Yeah, you conducted one on our newsroom, and actually when I got the email, I was like, is this a scam or is this like for real?
Well, you never know with phishing scams these days. So look, we did a thoroughly unscientific poll of our own newsroom staff here, and we found some really interesting takeaways. That the total use of our device, and once again, I have to look away from you and down at this digital thing.
Phone.
Right, 3 hours and 47 minutes. 3 hours and 47 minutes was the average time of our CBS News, CBSN digital staff, and the top applications were a tie. Right, so if you think about communication and information are stock and trade, Instagram, #1, tied with iMessage, but Instagram was the #1 most used application, tied with iMessage. And then it kind of goes like you might expect. Gmail was in that list. So were a number of news applications. YouTube was in that list. And a couple fantasy football applications.
Oh, I'm not shocked about that. Not shocked at all about that.
Either.
But 3 hours and 47 minutes, think about how much you could get done if you sort of put the phone away.
Yeah.
For at least an hour. I mean, think about the chores and the other things, your things to do list. Sometimes I'm on the phone so much, and I look at my things to do list, and I'm like, oh my, I forgot to do this. I didn't get a chance to do this because I'm like everybody else. I'm on Instagram and all the other apps or whatever. That's crazy.
The digital wellness and the opportunity cost of our time is really something that I think all technology firms will be focused on in 2019, including device manufacturers. And we will, of course, cover those stories right here on CBSN as long as we can get off of our phones long enough to write the news.
As long as you're around, I'm willing to talk about it. All right, Dan Patterson, thank you so much. Good to see you as well.
Good to see you, too.